Okay, the last bike review I did, I think I was on the Gavia Pass in northern Italy somewhere. Now we're in Nevada. We've just done the Red Rock Canyon on a hire bike. So let's put the hire bike through its paces. Let's see what we've got. And I'll have a chat about the ride and what I think about the bike. So what we've got today, we have a Scott, I think it's a CR1. I can't actually tell. I think it's a CR1. If anyone can read that, I can't. CR something 1, I believe. So it's a mixture of 105 and Ultegra components. It's 11 speed. Okay, 32 is a massive cog on the back, but it's also mixed with a compact crank. So I've got a 34-32. That's some pretty Hubbard gearing, or what we'd call Fred gearing. Now out here, there are some steepish hills, but really for most of where we're riding on these bikes, it's pretty flat. So there's nothing like an 18% grade, which you kind of need. Like around Adelaide and things, yeah, these kind of stuff. But out here, I reckon a 28 standard crank would suit anyone just fine. So it's kind of weird they've gone very big gearing on this. The first bike store we went to was 9-speed. I'm not even sure they make 9-speed anymore. So it was good to get an 11-speed bike. What else do we have here? Okay, so wheels. I'm a big fan of the Shimano RS81s. These are the Shimano RS11s, which are, I guess, probably a base model version Shimano wheels. They're rolling just fine. The bearings are good. Tyre-wise, we have, now here's a secret, these are actually my favorite tyres. They're the Conti Ultra Sports. They're a wire bead tyre, so they're not a folding tyre, they're wire bead, but they're really, really grippy. So they probably won't last too long, but they're super cheap and they're grippy. I've chewed through one of these tyres on the back in one workout session indoors on a Fluid 2 trainer. They're sort of like Formula 1 soft tyres. Good grip, nice performance, they do not last. So calipers on here, as I was saying, it's a mixture of componentry. I think there's a 105. But we haven't actually used our brakes a lot at the moment at all. And given we're in America, we're reverse brakes, which is a bit different to what we use back home. I'm not sure why that is, but it's been fine out here. We haven't done any technical descending or any really hardcore racing, so that should be fine. Okay, front end. We have, I think there's a 42 bars, which is pretty wide. I'm used to 36s in here, but for a hire bike, that's just fine. I've added the quad lock so I can put the phone on as well, and I travel with the Garmin mount. And yes, I am using the Garmin. I didn't bring the Bolt along. I should have, because the Garmins are area specific when you buy them. So the 820 that we bought only has the Australian maps on it, which is absolutely useless if you go anywhere else in the world. I had to download some third-party maps from OpenStreetMap last night and load them up. That was okay, but again, for $600 kind of device, you kind of want it to, as soon as you move somewhere else and it knows you're on the other side of the world, I'd like it to say, hey, you're in America, would you like to download the American maps? That'd be great. Garmin, get onto it. Wahoo Elements already have those maps built in, or you can download them straight away. So Garmin, scrap your payment maps. We're using OpenStreetMaps anyway. It's just a pain in the ass to put them on, but they're working fine. Okay, next up, saddle-wise, we have a, I've got no idea, Syncross saddle. That's good enough. Von's travelled with her own saddle. I've bought my own, but this is good enough for what we need. Pedals, we've bought our own pedals. So they're my pedals, so they suit my shoes. The crank set is a 105 crank set. So the only thing that's actually Ultegra on here are the shifters and the rear derailleur. Everything else is 105. 105 front mech. And as you can see the chain there, it's well oiled, but probably a little bit over oiled. But it gets you away for a few days. Given these bikes are only hired for a few days, that's good enough. They'll just sort of polish that off, I guess, back at the store. Okay, and then saddlebag as well. What have they included in the saddlebag to get us out of trouble? Well, first of all, I've got to open the thing. So, saddlebag, we have some canisters because we can't travel with canisters. We have a spare, we have some levers, 2 canisters and a pump. Now, what they didn't put in the store, that I bought along myself, was some stick-on patches. That's mine. Now, they should really include these because they only give you 1 tube, so they should put those in, but I travel with those. I mean, they're super light to travel with. If you've seen my video on how to pack a saddlebag, I give that about a 6 out of 10. I give it an 8.5 out of 10 with my addition. 10 out of 10 would be that tube prepped up like I prepped them, and probably two tubes as well. But the patches I bring along as well are these little stick-on patches. You can see just here, they stick to each other quite well. Oh, there's one that's probably half useless, but they're stick-on patches for tube. So as long as you can find the hole in the tube and it's dry, you stick those on. Hang on, there we go. And they will get you home, just like a Band-Aid. And I carry quite a few of those, because you never know, if you're rolling along, you can help someone out. Like a little, they cost only a few dollars for a ton of those. So those in a saddlebag, always handy to have. So it was a nice little addition to have the saddlebag. I always travel with mine anyway, but no multi-tool because we get those taken off us at the airport. No multi-tool supplied in the bag. Reason being is it's not as if they don't want you to be handy out in the road for the bike and get yourself home. They don't want people tinkering with the bikes, which is fair enough. But that would be a nice addition though for people like me who I won't over tighten anything, but I'd still want to get home. So at the moment, if anything goes wrong with our bike and we don't have the multi-tool and we don't touch the bike, we're going to have to call Uber or Lyft or something to get us home. Not ideal out here. They'll probably only use a few dollars to get home. So just your standard metal drink bottle cages, and all up the weight of the bike, probably about 8.5 kilos or so, maybe 8 kilos flat. But all up, not bad, not a bad ride. And for $55 a day, compared to the first store we walked into, a bike of this level at 11 speed, they wanted $200 a day. So for 55, this was from Pro Cyclery. Definitely not a sponsored ad. They didn't know we were going to do this review at all. So this is a complete vanilla. I'm a customer, we're good. This is what you get when you walk in the store. So there's a quick overview of the bike as it comes. We took in our measurements, so it's important to take in your measurements, especially for seat height and seat position. And once they've got those dialed in the shop, you sort of go out for a ride in a car park, bring it back in and just tell them to tweak it. So I brought the saddle forward a little bit and I had to slam this right down. It was sort of up really high. So they've done a few customizations for me after my first ride, which was really good, and the guys were happy to do that for me. If I was going to have this as my bike, I'd definitely have the skinnier bars on the front. I would slam that down with a -17 and maybe a little bit longer stem on the front. Not really set up as a race bike though, but that's what I'd do if I was to use this frame. I'm running a 54, which is suiting me just fine. You can see there's not much setback on that and the reach isn't too bad. All up, probably about an 8 out of 10 for the bike. So pretty good. Definitely the best hire bike I've had. And leaps and bounds above the one I had up in Bormio and the one I reviewed. If you've seen that review, I'll link below to that one as well. So anyway, there we go. Time to get home. It's all downhill from here and I can't wait to rip the head off, to ride this bike cautiously and carefully before returning it to the store. All right, see you soon.